Oscar De La Hoya. I do believe Floyd Schofield, he has everything it takes to beat Shakur Stevenson. Oscar makes it official, at least online, and he says that Kid Austin accepted the fight to fight Shakur Stevenson. Turn his TV off, turn his TV off, huh? Turn his TV off, turn the TV off, huh? I guess we got to talk about it. Oscar De La Hoya put out a brand new tweet. It says, Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, he tagged him, is officially the most badass prospect fighter today. Kid officially accepts to fight Shakur Stevenson. Let's go. And then Oscar put crying emojis and he says, it's so quiet all of a sudden. Now, Oscar, I guess, is trying to troll, but he's kind of tripping. Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, and his dad have been adamant that they wanted the Shakur fight. If you listen to my content, I've always told you guys that. I keep it a buck like the dollar store, like Dollar Tree, right? And I never doubted that the Schofields wanted to fight because I told you, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They are calling out Shakur. They keep calling out Shakur. Perhaps they really want this fight. However, my concern was with Golden Boy, right? Just like you look at Golden Boy right now, they don't have that many stars, right? How many people watched Latino Night and Zurdo Ramirez's last fight? Like, be honest. In the comment section, let me know if you watched it in real time. Not highlights, but you watch the card up and down, right? So that's what it's always been. Just like you have Oscar De La Hoya, and he's saying that Ryan can't fight without him, and, you know, acting and publicly petitioning that he might get in the way of that fight and all roads lead to him and his company. You know, there's fear for that fight too. And he did the same thing with Schofield. He basically said, he blamed it on Eddie Hearn, which was dumb. And I talked about it when he did that on the Clapback Thursday, which he's now deleted, probably because he was getting bad feedback for that week's episode. Because he was making it like Shakur and Eddie Hearn have this, they've masterminded this plan to pick on somebody who was 22 years old and made it sound like, you know, everybody like, oh, you want to fight a prospect for your first fight with Eddie Hearn? Why? Like, you know what I mean? What are you talking about? The Schofields are talking trash. Shakur's talking trash. They have experience sparring. They're in the same profession. It's not like the Schofields play tennis and Shakur is a pro fighter. They're both in the same industry. So that was dumb from De La Hoya. And now he's trying to gloat like, oh, it's real quiet. Bro, the only reason people had suspicions is, one, the public negotiation, which I'm never going to be a fan of, and I'm still not. And two, you did the Clapback Thursday, making people doubtful that the fight would happen, period. So I don't understand what De La Hoya. And here's the thing, people. Ego thoughts, bruh. As of me recording the video, the fight hasn't been confirmed, but all parties sound like they're on deck. And that's a good thing if all parties are on deck saying they want it. Shakur's saying he signed a contract. The Schofields are saying they signed a contract. And De La Hoya is saying that Schofield, the client he represents, the fighter he represents, is in agreement to the fight. So that's good signs. We'll wait and see. Me, I like it to be official, right? But let's make no mistake about it. And I'm not one to mince my words. I truly believe that if this fight does happen, it is because of the Schofields more than Oscar and more than Golden Boy. Put me on record. I truly believe that De La Hoya didn't want this fight to happen, and perhaps the Schofield and maybe Turkey al-Sheikh and the money involved happened and came into play, so they couldn't prevent their fighter from getting a bag, because that would look very bad. You owe your fighter whatever your contract says, X amount of fights per year. That's a huge opportunity, seeing that Zepeda is not available. So they offered to step in. It wasn't Eddie Hearn and Shakur. They called out Shakur. So it'd be wrong to kind of prevent the fighter who believes that they can win. So now De La Hoya is going to do what he always does and act like he believes in his fighter and act like he wants it all along and hope that Schofield wins. And if Schofield wins, then he's going to act like he had the belief and wherewithal from jump. That's how people do. You see it in boxing. There's a lot of low quality content in this boxing game. Bad audio, cheap thumbnails, visuals are lacking. And most importantly, the knowledge in the game is lacking. So what happens is people will wait for a fight to happen or news to come out. And once everybody knows the news, then people will run to their channels or their platforms and say, I told you, I knew this was going to happen. And they didn't tell you before the fact. They waited until it happened and then said something about it. So believe me, that's what De La Hoya will do. I truly don't think that De La Hoya wanted the fight, just like I don't think that De La Hoya wanted Ryan Garcia to fight Gervonta Davis. But just like Ryan Garcia, you got these golden boy fighters that are piping up and they're saying like, yo, these are big opportunities. I want this fight. This is the only fight we want. Make the fight. Don't hold me back. So fair play to the Schofields. Fair play to Ryan Garcia. Even though Ryan came up short, people said he quit. First loss to Tank. It wasn't his promoter, initially. I don't think that the promoter is on board. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter if the fight gets done one way or another. It gets done. I think it's a good fight. Premature. I don't think it's the fight. Listen, I'm not going to complain because it's much better than Shakur fighting Joe Cordina. I think Floyd Schofield has a lot of upside. He looked vulnerable in his last fight, but I still think the fight's premature. I don't favor him to beat Shakur Stevenson, and that's just my opinion. Ain't no love lost. It is what it is. I think that experience pays dividends. Shakur is a bit bigger. He's more experienced, hard to hit, and it's easy on tape and it's easy on camera, like looking at somebody's flaws, doing it under the bright lights and embarrassing them and upsetting them. Easier said than done, and I think Shakur is going to fight in a certain style that, it might be, I don't even know what to expect for this fight. It might be something like the Edwin De Los Santos type of fight where Shakur just tries to tame him. I don't know. I don't know if he'll try to fight fire with fire and be more aggressive like he is with Artem Hartunyan. Either way, I have Shakur winning, but salute to the Schofields for believing in themselves and pushing for the fight. De La Hoya made this big deal about, Schofield's only 22. Well, Canelo was 23 and he fought Floyd Mayweather. Deal with it. Mike Tyson's youngest heavyweight champ. I'm the best ever. There's nobody that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. I'm just ferocious. I want his heart. I want to eat his kid. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I want a lunch butt this month. Right? Mike Tyson was like 19, 20 winning a title. So who cares? It's boxing. It's a grown man sport. It's a grueling sport. Men and women risk their lives in the sport of boxing. So the Schofields talked about it. Now they got to live up to that. But I believe there's a lot of people that are truly being disrespectful to Shakur Stevenson. I get it. His last two performances weren't scintillating, things like that. But, people nowadays, like I said, low quality content, they're not giving real breakdowns, like intelligible things. They're just like, Shakur's a runner. He's going to lose. He's going to get his butt kicked. All he does is run. He's boring. That's not an actual breakdown. It's like if you're an NBA commentator and you're assessing a game, the San Antonio Spurs with Tim Duncan, that was considered a boring team. They weren't like a fast paced, shoot 'em up, shoot your lights out, explosive basketball at the Rutgers and one style of play, but they were effective. Tim Duncan was effective. The Spurs were effective. They had a deep bench and it was a well-oiled machine. Ginobili, Parker, you had Duncan, etc. Kawhi, So at the end of the day, in sports, all that extra jazz don't really matter. It's about efficiency. And Shakur Whether you like his style or not, he's efficient. So we're gonna see. I want to see the fight actually announced before I start giving too much of the sauce. But let me know what you guys think. All parties involved sound like they're trying to make it happen. I will keep you guys posted. Subscribe for more boxing.